when we're talking about personal liberation, involves transcending the internal forces that shape our thoughts, actions, and beliefs. Freedom beyond the crowd is the ability to live authentically, to be yourself even when society is pressing in with its expectations, norms, and pressures. It's a freedom that requires introspection and self-awareness, an understanding that the world's expectations don't define our worth. It's about realizing that our sense of fulfillment doesn't need to come from fitting into a predefined mold. The crowd represents the collective forces of society, those pressures that mold us from the moment we are born. Parents, teachers, peers, the culture at large, all contribute to shaping our ideas about success, beauty, happiness, and the concept of what it means to be good, to be worthy. There's an implicit promise in this conditioning if we follow the prescribed path, if we live up to the expectations. We will belong, we will be accepted, and we will feel secure. However, the price of this security often comes at the expense of our individuality. We suppress our unique voices and conform to what is expected of us, losing touch with our authentic selves. But real freedom is about reclaiming that individuality. It's about liberating ourselves from the internalized constraints of conformity and remembering who we truly are. When we speak of freedom beyond the crowd, we're not advocating for physical isolation or retreating from society altogether. We're talking about a deeper kind of freedom, one that allows us to think for ourselves and make decisions that align with our inner values. It's the freedom to live by our own principles, to make choices that resonate with our soul, even when they go against the grain of societal expectations. This kind of freedom requires immense courage. It's not an easy path. The pull of the crowd, the pressure to conform, to fit in, to be accepted, is strong, especially in a world where comparison and competition thrive. Social media amplifies this pressure. It's become a platform where images of success, beauty, and perfection are presented as the standard to strive for. In this environment, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We get caught in the trap of seeking external validation, chasing likes, comments, and followers, in the hope that this will fill the emptiness we feel inside. But the true cost of this pursuit is the suppression of the very qualities that make us unique, our quirks, our passions, and our deep-seated desires. The more we seek external approval, the more we lose touch with who we are at our core. True freedom beyond the crowd is about liberating ourselves from this constant need for validation. It's about learning to live without seeking the approval of others and making choices that reflect our authentic nature. Living authentically means we learn to navigate life on our own terms. It's about discovering and embracing our passions, our desires, and our dreams without worrying about how others perceive them. It's about creating a life that aligns with our deepest values, rather than following the cookie-cutter path set by society. This doesn't mean rejecting connection or relationships. On the contrary, it means approaching relationships from a place of strength, where our worth doesn't depend on how others see us. When we live authentically, we learn to walk alongside the crowd without being consumed by it. We can be part of society, be part of communities, and engage with others without losing our essence. True freedom is not about isolating ourselves from others, but about finding the balance between connection and individuality. It's about knowing that we are worthy, regardless of how many followers we have or how many people approve of our choices. Freedom beyond the crowd is not about escaping society altogether. After all, we live in a world that thrives on interconnectedness. Rather, it is about transcending societal limitations and remaining grounded in our authentic selves. This means participating in society on our own terms. It means contributing our unique perspectives, talents, and voices without being confined by rigid expectations. When we do this, we enrich both our own lives and the lives of those around us. Take the example of Rosa Parks. By refusing to give up her seat on a segregated bus, she stood firm in her authenticity and sparked a movement that changed the course of history. Her courage to transcend societal norms inspired countless others to fight for justice. We may not all be called to spark social revolutions, but we can create ripples of change by living authentically and standing firm in our truth. True connection begins when we stop searching for approval from others and instead nurture the relationship with ourselves. This is the most important relationship we will ever have, yet it is often the most neglected. Self-compassion, self-reflection, and self-care are essential components of this relationship. When we treat ourselves with kindness and respect, we build a strong foundation for all other relationships. We become less dependent on external validation and more grounded in our own worth. In this space of self-connection, we are no longer bound by the need to fit in or seek constant approval.